talking about the first day of June. Now, I'm pretty excited about June's forecast. And the reason I say this is because June will eventually be a fantabulous month, okay, guys? But we have to go through the full moon, and the full moon is opposed. It is in not a great position. And so I just really want to prepare you for what is coming, because it's just like one of those like full moons of hell. So we're in June 1st. So let me tell you about full moons. Full moons have energy that builds. It accumulates. And I find that a couple days before the full moon is when you're going to get the unveiling of what is actually going to happen to you at the full moon. I'm pretty fascinated by the fact that at the same time that we have our lower level thinking, we have our higher level thinking in our moon in Sagittarius. So when we have a moon in Sagittarius, guys, that just means that when something emotional happens to us, we tend to think of it on a higher level. We tend to think of it like it activates our rational thinking. I think at times Gemini thinking can be at a lower level of thinking, and lower level of thinking, don't look at Gemini energy when I think of lower level thinking. That's basic instinct. That's everything that we've learned how to cope through life. That's how we speak. That's how we talk to people. That's how we know how to get what we want. That's a pretty powerful amount of communicating with others. And that is the way that, and that's what's activated. But at the same time, our elevated thinking happens. So if something ignites an emotional based reaction, something pisses us off, something generates something that we're like, okay, we need to think about this on an emotional level, your higher mind and your lower mind are ignited at the same time. Now, a square is an opposition, and it's a pretty serious opposition. It's not like opposition in energy where they're both here, you know, and they're trying to go here. I mean, that's not where we're at in this energy. It's a square. It's an odd angle. So we're confused. We're in a fog. We're caught in these two dualities of like Neptune and Pisces, this dreamy energy that wants to always imagine the best case scenario, wants us always to go for our dreams, wants us always to manifest our hopes and our dreams. And how do we do that? And thinking it through. You know, anytime that Pisces is activated in your life, Pisces energy is like, it takes all 12 of the signs. It's the oldest sign in the zodiac. Okay, then we've got a really young sign in the zodiac, Gemini, and this old sign in the zodiac and Pisces energy, this old sign, which is Pisces energy, and this young sign, which is Gemini energy. It has to do with your roots, with your foundation, how you learn to interact with people, what got you what you wanted. Versus, okay, I know that worked when you were young, but what works when you're older? You know, I've been living a long time now, and I've learned a lot of things. And what worked for me when I was younger, it's not as significant as what I need when I'm older. And you're combining these two, you're uniting them two, and you're saying, okay, the reality is these situations, I want this. It doesn't serve me anymore. The communication style that I used to do is being exposed, telling people what they want to hear versus what realistically I really am. That doesn't work anymore. The cat's out of the bag. I mean, everything's being exposed. And so you're having to elevate your thinking, become more real with everybody, become more genuine, become more authentic. Through this process, guys, you're going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to learn how to elevate who you are and how you relate to others. This energy is so amazing. If you're thinking about it on a political level, if you're thinking about it on a global level, This isn't about being able to pull the wool over everybody's eyes anymore, because most of what we've seen in politics, most of what we've seen in humanity right now, we know they're flawed. We know that there's weaknesses, and we know that there's something more to life than what we have been currently living. So that old quick response to things isn't cutting it. We're having to appeal to the elevated thinking of others, and this just takes some time to develop the skill. It takes some time to merge the two, right? The way that I see it is through this process, through this emotional experience, through this core experience, through what we went through in May. Maybe we had people come back from our past. Maybe we thought of our past in this really beautiful, genuine way, but somewhere along the way, reality is reality. So we reached out, we touched that person, and then we found that we're still caught in that same, cycle of like what happened in the past, what was generated in the past, what going back to the past doesn't create a new future. A new way of thinking does. Through that new way of thinking, you will elevate your life. You will ascend. I want you to think about Mercury and Gemini energy today. Mercury and Gemini energy is going to be in Saturn in Sagittarius. It's opposed. Remember, oppositional energy is here, and it wants to just go here. It wants to merge. It wants to become balanced. So, although Neptune in Pisces energy is squaring off with a lot of energies today, and you are going to have your moon in Scorpio go into Sagittarius energy, we're gonna switch over from emotional based reactions that have to do with fear, and have to do with insecurity, and have to do with who we used to be, right? Who we were in our past, our lower level of thinking, to elevated thinking, to analyzing where we became. Does that mean that people from your past can't be beneficial? That does not mean that. I'm not saying that if something came to light, you guys, in May, if a person was revealed to you that you can't forget, if you can't forget your past, there's a key there. There's a question there. There's a very, very important question, and it'll play out this week. It'll play out several times this week. And the energies are going to be in Gemini and Leo and Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy represents social status, how you climb the ladder, personal power. It has to do a lot with how we see ourselves ascending and being an influence in the future. I mean, that's what Pluto and Capricorn energy. And then you have Mars and Gemini energy that's just like, okay, I know that how I used to communicate this was this way, but this way doesn't work for me anymore. So I need to team up with a new creative approach, a new way of looking at life, and a new vigor and a new excitement. And I want you guys to really embrace that we're changing our lives. We can't be who we used to be. A predisposed wiring doesn't work. We need to ascend. We need to go and move up the ladder. And to do that, guys, we have a lot of Sagittarius thinking to do. That's why Saturn is sitting in Sagittarius. It's making us elevate our thinking. It's making us look at our lives on a very big scale. No longer can we think about our lives just providing for ourselves. We've got to think about contributing to others, and how do we do that, and how do we manifest the best selves? And we do that through being there for others, and inviting others, and learning about others, and talking to others, and we're a hot mess right now. The energy just didn't stop and get really better because it was June 1st. Heck no. We transition into June. Jupiter in Leo is trining Uranus in Aries. That energy, in this dual energy, can go two ways. It can go extremely amazing. It can go where it benefits you and it excites you, and you get an opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere and you weren't even looking for it. And you're like, how is this my life? Like, how do I get this lucky? And, it can go that way. It can strike in your home and family. It can strike in your money sector. So a new job opportunity could come your way, and you could be like, why is this even coming to me? I applied to them a year ago, and now they're coming out of the woodwork. You know what? I'm seeing it coming out of everybody's past. Opportunity comes from the past. It doesn't always come from the future. So don't let that stop you from looking back at past opportunities, past people, past relationship dynamics. We want to embrace who we were. We want to bring energy in opposition, bring it forward, make it bond with our new selves. Because June is all about generating a new identity. We're like going out of the little cocoon, and we're just, we're like going like this. We're like sticking our wing out, and we're like, and we're breaking it out of the cocoon. And it's like that. June is like that first extension of our wing, and we're like, oh my God, that feels so good. It's like that yoga pose where you just go like this. And you like stretch out your entire side, and it just feels so freaking amazing to like stretch your body out like that. Like, that is what